وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and of His signs, خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, is the creation of the heavens and the earth. Of His signs is what? The khalq, the creation of the heavens and the earth. After the creation of man, what is mentioned? The creation of the heavens and the earth. That now look beyond yourself. So far, we have been told to reflect on ourselves. Now, look beyond yourself. خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, the creation of the heavens and the earth. وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ, and the diversity of your languages and your colors. This is also a great sign. اختلاف, خا, لام, fa. And اختلاف, one of the meanings of this word is diversity, the difference. So the difference is in ألسنتكم وألوانكم. ألسنة is the plural of lisan. And lisan, literally it means tongue. However, it's also used for language. So the difference is in your languages and also وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ, and your colors. Alwan, plural of lawn. In your colors, in your complexion, in your shades. So what are the differences in the languages that people speak? That it's amazing how all people have originated from who? Adam and Hawa. But it's amazing that people, they speak different languages. So ikhtilaf of al-sina is first of all different languages that people speak. Such as, some people speak Arabic. Some people, they speak Spanish. Others, French. Others, German. So first of all, different languages. And within the languages also, aren't there different dialects? Aren't there? It's amazing. Some parts of certain countries, what happens is that you start, traveling from one point, and you travel like a few miles only, and the dialect will change slightly. English, for instance, so many different accents, right? So, وَاخْتِلَافِ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ, languages, dialects, accents, and not just that, but each person, he speaks different. How? In the choice of his words, in his expressions, in his clarity of his speech, in his delivery. Some people, they speak fast, others they speak slow, others they speak very loud, others they speak very low. Isn't it? Each person speaks differently. No two people talk exactly in the same way. And this is with regards to the language they speak, the choice of words, their fasaha, their eloquence, their manner of delivery, their clarity, so on and so forth. وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. And this diversity is also found in the colors of people. Alwan is a plural of lawn, as I mentioned earlier, and it's used for the shade, the complexion. And it's amazing how people, they're of different colors. Some are fair, some are darker in their complexion, some are middle tone. And even people who belong to the same family, who are from the same race, you will see differences in their complexion. Siblings even, they will not have the same complexion. Parents and children will not have the same complexion. This is an ayah. This is a great sign. This is not something to boast over one another and become biased to one another. No, this is of the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's amazing how sometimes if you go to buy foundation, you will find so many different shades. Isn't it? So many different shades. What does that show? That human skin is of so many different colors. So many different colors. وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْعَالِمِينَ. Indeed, in that are surely signs for those people who have knowledge, for those people who have ilm. Now, one of the main things on which people are categorized is what? The language they speak and the color of their skin. Isn't it so? For example, if you call a person Turki, what does it mean? Immediately, Turki means they speak Turkish. If you call a person Arabi, what does it mean? They speak Arabic, right? So, one of the main ways through which people are identified, through which people are recognized, through which people are categorized, is the language they speak and also the color of their skin. But the language they speak is one of the main things, which is why Al-Sina is mentioned first. And especially the mother tongue of a person. What the mother of a person speaks, the language, that becomes what? His identity. Isn't it so? Like for example, many times you have to fill up a form and they ask you, what's your mother tongue? Now you speak another language, and the language that your mother speaks, you're not that fluent at it. But still, what is your identity? Your mother tongue, the language that your parents speak. Right? So that becomes your identity. And the color also of a person, that becomes a source of their identification. You see a person, from the color of their skin, you can tell which part of the world they're originally from, which language they speak, which culture they belong to. And sometimes we just categorize people in broad categories. Oh, white people, brown people, so on and so forth. But a person who belongs to a particular race, they can tell the differences even within. Like I remember once I was with a friend, and this family, they walked by, and they were black. And I just thought, okay, African, that's it. That's the only thing that came to my mind. And she said, no, they're from Congo. I'm like, how do you know? She's like, I can tell. I can tell who's from this country. I can tell who's from that country. We just categorize people in a very general term, right? In a very general category. But people who belong to the race, they can tell who's from which country, who's from which background. They can tell immediately. So this is ikhtilaf in alwan wa alsina. Why? This is a sign that if you look at the origin of human beings, Adam and Hawa, but if you look at their children, look at the different languages they speak, and look at the different colors of their skin. And if you look at your body even is not of the same color from head to toe. Isn't it so? Some parts of your body, they may be more fair. Other parts of your body, they may be more dark. So this variation in complexion in the shades, who has kept this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We learn in Surah Fatir, ayah number 28, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ وَالدَّوَابِّ وَالْأَنْعَامِ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ. And among people and moving creatures and grazing livestock are those of various colors. That people, they're of various colors. Even animals, they're of various colors. Even within horses, for example, you find horses that are brown, horses that are black, horses that are white, different colors. So this is an ayah, this is a sign. This shows to us the great power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But unfortunately, what do people think? That just because they speak a particular language, or they are of a particular skin color, they are superior, or they are inferior. Unfortunately, this is how what people think. Just as people think that just because I'm a woman, I have to prove myself better. Isn't it? That man is my enemy. That's what people think. That's why you have this group of feminists who are always trying to prove, their superiority or their equality with men. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made this variety so that people compete with one another. They become arrogant towards one another. No. He has created this variety, and it shows His great power. It shows His knowledge, His wisdom. It shows His perfection. And if you notice at the end of the ayah, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? That إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ for who? For who? لِلْعَالِمِينَ. For those people who have knowledge. Those people who have ilm, they will uqul, they will ilm. They are the ones who will take benefit from this sign. So what does it show? Because if you look in the previous ayat, in the previous verses, this was not said. Only when it came to languages and colors, this has been said. Because a person who is familiar with different languages, who has knowledge of different languages, who has knowledge of different types of races, different types of people, he can appreciate this. He can appreciate this. Because, a person who only knows about his language and that's all he's heard, that's all he's read, that's the environment that he's grown up in, he cannot appreciate this as much. But when you're exposed to different languages, different people, what do you think? This is amazing. Isn't it? So a person who has ilm of this, he can appreciate this sign. he can appreciate this blessing, this great ayah. This is why we see that in Surah Al-Imran, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? That إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. It's not everybody. It's those people who have intellect, those people who use their mind. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and of His signs, مَنَامُكُمْ, is your sleep, بِاللَّيْلِ, by the night, وَالنَّهَارِ, and the day. Of His signs is you're sleeping by nighttime and also by daytime. Manam is from the root letters Noon, Waw, Mim. And what is the word manam? What kind of a word is it? Zarf and also masdar. Which masdar? Masdar mimi, remember? So manam, what is it? Sleep. You're sleeping. It's a masdar. This is why we're translating it as you're sleeping. This word can also be zarf, time of sleep, place of sleep. However, in the context, manam is masdar. So, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ مَنَامُكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ, you're sleeping by night time. Why? In order to give rest to your body, so that your body can rejuvenate, your mind and soul, it can rest. وَالنَّهَارِ, and also day. It's not just that you're able to sleep only at night time, but also when? During the daytime. Now does it mean, see, we have a proof we can sleep during the day as much as we want? Is this what it means? Sleeping by daytime, what does it refer to? The nap, the afternoon nap, which does not mean that you eat and then you sleep for 2-3 hours unless there's a genuine reason. But what does it mean? That you rest a little bit. So, مَنَامُكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَابْتِغَاؤُكُمْ, and you're seeking مِنْ فَضْلِهِ, of His bounty. When? During the day and also during the night. That you work during the day, and if that's not possible, if the work is such, then you work during the night, and as a result, what do you attain? The fadl of Allah. Livelihood. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمِ يَسْمَعُونَ. Indeed, in that are surely signs for who? For those people who listen. Notice, listening has been mentioned. Why? Because during the night, which sense of yours is sharper? Of hearing, of listening. And during the day when you're working, which sense of yours should be extremely sharp? Listening again. لِقَوْمِ يَسْمَعُونَ. Now in this ayah, what is mentioned? Sleep. What is sleep? The sister of death. It's understood as minor deaths. Al-wafatu sughra. So a person who works all day, he's working, reading, studying, doing physical work. What happens? He reaches a point where he cannot function anymore. He tries to keep his eyes open, but he cannot read anymore. He tries to stand and do his work, but he cannot continue anymore. So what happened? His body, it begins to shut down. And what does he need to do? Take rest. How? By sleeping. And this is also a huge blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A huge blessing. That we're able to sleep, get rest, and when we wake up, we have energy again. Just imagine if there was no concept of sleeping, that human beings were unable to sleep. How would we function? It would be extremely difficult. When a person has not slept properly, what happens? They become so cranky. Isn't it? You ask them something and they answer back in such a harsh way. And what do they say? I'm sorry, I have a very bad mood, I didn't sleep well last night. Right? That's what they say. I had a very difficult night. I wasn't able to sleep. I had too much work to do. Similarly, when you haven't slept well, what happens? Are you able to function properly? No. Can your body function properly? Can your mind function properly? No. So it's a huge blessing of Allah that human beings are able to sleep. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, it's of His signs. That you work and then you rest, you sleep and then you wake up again. When you reach the point of exhaustion, you cannot continue anymore, you sleep and then you get up and you continue work again. So this is what? Sleep. But there will come a point where a person will be put to sleep and he will not wake up again. So we see that where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created many things in order to fulfill the needs of the human being, He has also created sleep. We learn in Surah Al-Isra, ayah number 12, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ آيَتَيْنِ, and we have made the night and the day two signs. فَمَحَوْنَا آيَةَ اللَّيْلِ وَجَعَلْنَا آيَةَ النَّهَارِ مُبْصِرَةً, and we erased the sign of the night and made the sign of the day visible, meaning the sun. لِتَبْتَغُوا فَضْلًا مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, that you may seek bounty from your Lord. So He has made the night dark and He has made the day bright. Why? So that you're able to work during the day. So what do we learn? That daytime is actually the time when a person should work. Why? Because this is something that we find mentioned many, many times in the Quran. But what do we see over here? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the night and the day, that you sleep during the night and the day, and also وَابْتِغَاءُكُم مِّن فَضْلِهِ, that you seek His bounty when? During the night and also during the day. So yes, during the day a person should be seeking the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning doing his work. But if necessary, if a person must work at night, that is also permissible. You understand? Because sometimes certain work requires you to work at night time. Like for example, a person does not find a day shift. He can only find night shift. Or his work is such that he has to do part of that work during night time as well. Now should he say, no, I'm going to sleep right now regardless of how important the work is? No. If it requires him to stay up and do his work, he should do it. However, a person should not make this a habit. What? Staying up during the night and working, and sleeping during the day. Because this is not how the human body can function properly. This is not the natural system, the natural way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for the human beings. You may be able to work, you may be able to function, however not for too long. What is the ideal, the best time for you to work? Morning, especially early morning. But if for some reason a person is unable to, then during the night also it is possible. And what do we see over here? That a person, he is able to sleep when? During the night and also during the day. And this also is of the ayat of Allah. However, it does not mean that a person sleeps during the day excessively. We see that Abdullah ibn Abbas, he disliked sleeping in the morning. He disliked that people should sleep in the morning. And he also said that one should not sleep at any other time during the day except in the afternoon. Except in the afternoon. But if, let's say, a person's schedule is such that it requires him to take some rest after Fajr, then that should be in moderation as well. And that should only be for a genuine reason. Not that a person is deliberately staying up late at night, and because of that he cannot stay up in the morning and he's sleeping excessively. No. He should try his best that he should get his maximum sleep during the night time. But if for a genuine reason, like for example, a mother is breastfeeding her child and her child wakes up every 2 hours, every 1 hour she's nursing, it's impossible for her to not take rest after Fajr. So if she does sleep, how should she sleep? In moderation. Not that she's sleeping until 10 o'clock, until 11 o'clock. Until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay, then get up and do something. And if you're really tired, then take a nap in the afternoon. Because that is the time when a person should be sleeping during the day. And we see that when a person works during the day and rests during the night, then this enables him to work more efficiently the next day. And one more thing that we should notice over here is that وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ مَنَامُكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ, that it's of His signs that you're able to sleep when? During the night and during the day. Who enables a person to sleep? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because many times it happens that you're lying down and you're not able to close your eyes. Isn't it? You're exhausted. You're tired. But you're not able to close your eyes. Many pregnant women, this is what they complain of. They're exhausted, they're lying in bed, but they can't sleep. So, by whose permission can you sleep even? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you're unable to sleep, what should you do? Get a pen, put a sleeping pill in your mouth, right? What should you do? The Prophet ﷺ taught us a dua. Not that he told us to take some dawa, some medication. Alright? We were told to make dua. And you can find this dua in different books. There are different versions for not being able to sleep. So وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ مَنَامُكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَابْتِغَاؤُكُمْ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَسْمَعُونَ. Okay, we'll listen to the recitation and then we'll continue. Share your reflections, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I was thinking about the verse 21, which talks about spouses and everything. It ends with إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. That's because generally people complain about their spouses, and unless and until they do tafakkur, they wouldn't realize that they are a source of rahmah and mawaddah for them.
Exactly. They wouldn't appreciate the blessing of having a spouse even. So tafakkur is necessary to appreciate the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. Anybody else? Yes.
I was just also thinking about the same verse, that لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, that majority of the divorces that take place is also because of this, because if a husband cannot come to his wife and talk to her about anything, meaning just about anything and everything, then he won't find this peace there. And then obviously this division will happen. So all of us as females, we should realize that our husbands should be able to come to us with any problem and talk to us and just, say whatever, like talk about things, and you should be there for them. Yes. And then that way they will be there for you.
Very true. Not that when they come to us, we tell them, oh, deal with your own problems yourself. I have many problems to deal with myself. This should not be the way of spouses. They should be means of sukoon for one another. That when they talk to one another, they get some good advice, they get some insight, they get another point of view, they know what to do, their mind opens up. This is something that's extremely essential between a husband and a wife. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. Also, when we have mawaddah and rahmah between our husbands or wives, this is a good lesson for children. Our children, they see in us how we treat each other. That's also as a very good lesson. A good ummah will come later in generation, inshallah.
Very true. That where this lacks between a husband and wife, mawaddah and rahmah, then what happens? The children, they grow up without these feelings as well. When they're not shown compassion, when they're not shown love, as a result, they don't show love to others. They have hard hearts.
Also, that reminds me of another study they did on pregnant women. They put some electrodes and everything on them to see how the baby moves and what the baby's face is going to be like. And what happened was, like, when the husband and wife were fighting, okay, the child had a crying face and the heartbeat raced, right? And it started moving and shaking in the womb, right? As if like angry. And when the husband and wife were being in a good mood and were like saying nice things to each other, the child was smiling. They recorded on the ultrasound the child smiling, and the movement became so soft and smooth. And and the child got positioned in a perfect way. So subhanAllah, women who are pregnant, please be in a good mood.
Yes, it affects the children at such a young age, such an early stage. And also that there's mawaddah and rahmah between people. Right? People in general, not just husband and wife, but people in general. So if somebody says salam to you, what should you do? Say salam to them, right? If somebody smiles at you, what should you do? Smile at them. There should be this love and mercy between people. We think, oh, do I know her? Why is she smiling? What does she want? Maybe this is what she wants. This is not how we should be thinking.
Assalamu alaikum. From just the beginning of this ayat, I was thinking that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins mentioning the creation, humble beginning of creation of man. And afterwards He mentioned that He made spouse for human being, and then manamikum bilayl. So I was thinking that all of this shows the greatness, because Allah began ayat from the signs of His greatness and the qudra. This is what He has done, and this is something that we have no choice of and no one can ever do. So I was thinking that why Allah is mentioning this, it is things that we see every day. We have to humble ourselves, and if you see these ayahs, you have nothing but to submit it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Assalamu alaikum. I was just thinking about the ayat وَاخْتِلَافَ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ, that Allah says إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. So if you really know that this is the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you wouldn't have any racism, or you wouldn't see somebody's lower than you. And now alhamdulillah, like we learn in the Quran And then we see this is ayah every time. And then if we still have this bias, or if we think somebody is lower than us because of their color or because the way how they speak, the ilm is not really synced in.
Very true. This is a very good point. That the sign of a person being an alim is that he will not discriminate people based on the color of their skin and the way that they speak. Because sometimes what happens, just because a person does not have the accent that we like, we say that, oh, I can't listen to them. Or the moment they come before us, they start talking, we start laughing at them. If we're not laughing on the surface, we're laughing on the inside. This is not the sign of a person who has ilm. The sign of an alim is that he considers people to be equal, and inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The only person who is better is the one who has more taqwa. Otherwise, people are all the same. He will give preference to someone. Why? When they have more taqwa. Not just because they have a particular skin color. Not just because they speak very eloquently. Anything else?
I was just thinking that we're all taught to strive in being most obedient to Allah. And with that, we refrain from stealing, lying, cheating, all those things that we know are prohibited. But when it comes to, you'll see some people and they have the habit of staying up the entire night and just staying out, or even within the household, they just say we don't sleep at night and, staying up on the internet, whatever it may be. But even that is in obedience to Allah, that when we go to sleep, because we're resting our bodies for His sake, so that we can wake up early and be productive for His sake alone.
Very true. Because if a person is up at night on the internet, watching a movie, watching this, watching that, then he won't be able to work during the day properly. He won't be able to help people during the day. Isn't it? What do we learn? That during the night, rest, part of the night, worship Allah. And during the day, what should you do? Do your work and also help other people. Okay, let's continue.